Hey filmmaker, Chung here. So Sony just announced their Sony A6400, which is a really interesting camera for YouTubers and vloggers. However, I don't have, of course, the hands-on on it, even though I am using quite a lot of Sony gear, but also they know me and also they have seen me at Broadcast Asia, Photoville. I've even do the Sony talk in blah blah, and I don't know why they haven't sent me one or contacted me, but main thing is I do have here an older camera, which is the Sony A5100, which I actually like using, but there is of course a lot of issues with this camera. But finally, since many moons, many years, they finally added a interchangeable lens camera with a tilty uppy screeny so you can see yourself. So the A6400 has the same, or not really identical, but finally a tilt up screen so you can film yourself and see yourself. Well, with a lot of the cameras for many years they haven't released one, and really a lot of people seems to be nagging about the tilt uppy screen than really finally saying finally they have a flippy uppy screen. Because personally for me, I really like that they finally have that screen. I also would say keep going, make it also on the A7S III so people can even vlog with the A7S III, and maybe make A6600 with IBIS, because the A6400 does not include IBIS, and I'm not quite sure why nobody is nagging about that point, because if you are vlogging and walking about, you want to have steady shots, and without IBIS you won't get as steady as like just built-in stabilization in certain lenses, and not all APS-C lenses or all lenses have built-in stabilization. So if here the 16mm with a wide angle adapter, this does not have built-in stabilization. And pretty much like it would be nice having like a stabilized sensor, the IBIS, on the A6400. But going towards like why people hate the flippy uppy screeny is that if you use a microphone on top here, it would block the screen. So is that really a big issue? So personally for me, if I'm filming myself like in such an environment right now, that I'm filming myself in a studio or at home, I would not put the camera so close on myself that I would record with a shotgun mic. And personally I would use a clip mic, so, or a lavalier. And actually if you really look at a lot of YouTubers nowadays, they either use a lavalier or use actually like a microphone, like a studio microphone. Yeah, those you can see often used instead of having the mic on top of their camera, because they know having the mic close to you is gonna get you the better audio. However, of course, if you are walking out and about for vlogging, having a clip mic is not ideal, because you can only capture like nice audio that is you talking. However, if you are filming somebody else, you would need to clip them instead, and that would cost you a lot of time instead of just aiming the camera with a microphone on top of it. But of course there is quite simple solutions for it. So I'm quite sure a lot of like cage makers and like Small Rig, Tilta, and all kinds of other brands will make a cage or an L bracket for the A6400. And this I even make myself. This is basically a universal L bracket with a cold shoe here on the side. So if I mount this on the A5100, I'm going to show you how that would look like. And it would make the setup quite small, because I've seen a lot of people using like big L brackets, while you can get like a tiny L bracket instead. And this doesn't add that much to the camera. If you actually look at it, I don't think it's made it that much huge. And now I can finally mount a mic on the side of the camera without it blocking the screen. So now of course it's much wider, but still it's not as huge. So still it's quite a usable size, and I can see people vlogging with this. It's still very lightweight because it's not like a huge cage or a huge rig about it. And like if they, like Small Rig or other brands would make a smaller, nicer fitting bracket, it would be much better. So yeah, I don't see the flippy up screen as much of an issue, honestly, because there is workaround about it, and pretty much I'm quite sure that Small Rig or any other brands would make a proper cage for it with a hot shoe on the side instead on top. So the other issues with the A6400 is basically the battery. So with the battery, it uses the same batteries as like my A7R2 and also the A5100, which is like the FW50, and it's maybe an issue for certain people. So if you are new to the camera and you don't want to really buy into like an older battery, so you might feel like, why didn't they update it? But if you are actually from like the A5100, A6300, you might have still quite a lot of those batteries, so it feels like more of a real upgrade, so you can still keep your batteries with upgrading to a new camera. So don't feel like that you have wasted buying so many batteries and now you have to buy new batteries. So it feels like you can just migrate to a new camera without an issue. So that is the main thing. But of course, people using like the older FW50, I right now have like 8 of those batteries, because if I want to do a photo shoot like for a whole day or a wedding shoot for a whole day, I need to have so many batteries, because like every battery lasts at least 1 hour. And if you are like wedding from 7 in the morning till noon or till midnight, it's going to be a hassle to try to survive with just 4 or 2 batteries. So you need to have a lot of those. But yeah, the batteries might be an issue that you need to buy quite a lot of them. But if you are migrating from an older camera with still having so many of those batteries, it might not be like that big of an issue. So if also like, not sure if everybody knows, the A6400 does have some also extra improvements than just having that flippy uppy screeny, because if you actually look further into it, it has improved autofocus. It also have like animal eye autofocus, and also they finally added built-in time-lapse. So with these two cameras, you needed to buy like an app, and the app purchase was so difficult. You needed to like get like a PlayStation account, use like credit card and all kinds of hassle, and eventually I gave up on trying to purchase those apps and just bought a remote for time lapses. And now finally the A6400 will be the first one to have like built-in time lapse instead of needing to buy a app for it. So that is a great thing. And yeah, the autofocus should be also improved like the A7 III series, which actually have firmware updated that you can use like the adapters with third-party lenses and get like full features. So you can get like the eye focus and also much faster autofocus than compared to the 2 series. So it's the A7R2, and this with native lenses is actually really great. But if I want to use third-party, it's still quite a lot of hassle with like, I have the MC11, and if I use MC11 with Sigma art lens, I do get like most features. But if I use it with like the Canon 24-105, it just misses a lot of features for getting me proper autofocus. So it is really a hassle, and I think that is also the issue with if you're using like the Sony A6300 and A6500. So the A6400 should have like the functions of it. So the A6400 should be able to use like an adapter with third-party lenses without that much issues. And the final thing, I think, one thing I haven't seen people testing it yet is if the A6400 would overheat, because the A6300 overheats and the A6500 kinda had it fixed with a firmware, basically letting it run much longer but still gets like a little bit of overheat issue, and people could feel that it got hot. But hopefully with like the new processors and all the new features that they have found in the A7 III series that they brought to the A6400, that it would improve and not get overheatings anymore. I do feel like personally for me, I might pick it up to be like a B camera to my A7R2, and mainly also like use it for vlogging to get like that more shallow depth of field and enable me to see myself. And I actually hope if they are releasing the A7S III that it also includes that tilty uppy screeny, so people finally have a Sony full frame that they can see themselves with when they film themselves. Because right now, if I'm using the A7R2 for vlogging, I really am guesstimating where I am in the shot and really making it quite difficult to film myself unless I rig it up with an extra monitor and everything, making it overly complicated to be able to see myself when I'm filming with the A7R2. So that was mainly it. Hope you guys found this a quite interesting video, and if you haven't subscribed yet and if you want to see more upcoming videos, please hit that subscribe button here below. Also make sure to hit that bell icon so you're always updated when I post a new video. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you the next time. Bye bye.